What's going on, YouTube? It's James Schreimer, Fantasy Battle Reports, and I got another battle report for you today. It's the last round, ETC 2017 in Salamanca, Spain, for me in Team Mexico, going at it against an Orc and Goblin player, Georgi Topolov. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you, there's multiple stories going on into this game. Game 6, there's so many stories. This is going to be a long video. It's always a long video at the end of the tournaments, because I add up everybody's points and everything like that. But I'm going to go ahead and explain a couple of these stories to you guys. So this has been an exciting road. This has been a good road. We just came back from a huge win against Ukraine, and right now we're going against Bulgaria. And the first thing I'm going to mention is that before we got to ETC, we did a matrix, and what the matrix is our gauge on how would we do against certain players in each team depending on their list and armies. Very simple. If there's an army that's like, say, heavy fire damage, and you just happen to have flaming wards up the wazoo, you don't really care. That's a good match for you. You'll probably kill them, right? If there's you brought a monster mash list and you're going against an army that has no cannons, hey, this is a good match. You're probably gonna win, right? So going against the matrices, right? I have two glaring weaknesses. I'll explain to you guys with this current list that I have right now. I have a couple weaknesses, and I ran into a couple of them in ESC. Number one weakness is a Bloodthirster double hell cannon list, and you're gonna see it after I get done with my ETC games, where I really get messed up by a couple different players with Bloodthirster hell cannons, because the flaming shot in the cannon basically negates Zod's regen save, and that makes either that creates a whole nother issue, and I'll explain it when I get to that video anyways. So that is one of the number one list that I'm just like, hell no. Number two list is the Ogre Khan Hellfist lists with double cannons, double rocks, Tusker characters. That one's really tough for me, mainly because of the double cannons, and if there's a character with, say, a Kadali's Maul, my monsters really won't ever have the light of day or the opportunity to get where they need to be. Even so, it would be really hard for my characters like Zod or Koopa to deal with those characters as well. It's a tough list. It's a really tough match. I don't have War Machines to deal with them. My Pyromancy doesn't do much against them. Most of the time they're taking ward saves. The number three thing that I have a problem with is Giant Horde Vampire list with the dragons and the freaking the regen bubbles. I just can't break the numbers. I mean, I've been practicing on those three weaknesses as is against normal opponents that I have. So the rest of the things that I have hard times with is alchemy and cannons. Alright, going into this ETC, we did the matrix, and somebody asks me, one of my teammates asked me, I can't remember who it was, it might have been Joseph. Joseph was a really cool guy. I hung out with Joseph the whole weekend. I did not expect him to be as cool as he was. But anyways, Joseph asks me, what team, like what country do you not want to play? And I said Bulgaria. And everybody at the table was like, what? Bulgaria? I go, Bulgaria. They're like, why? I said, every single thing in their army kills me. Every single team. And look at this. I want to pop open this page right here. Look at this. Infernal Dwarves, Empire of Sonsdal, Demon Legions, Saurian Ancients, Dwarven Holds, Ogre Khans, Dread Elves, and Orcs and Goblins. Everything in there has alchemy or double cannons or flaming cannons or Bloodthirster. Everything in there. The only one that I really wanted to play against was the Saurian Ancient player. I wanted that Saurian Ancient player. I was like, that's the only one that is the safe for me. That is safe. And as you can see, my name is not by there. So, going back from right to left, we're doing Empire Sonsdal versus our Empire against their Infernal Dwarves. Charlie, our Vampire, against their Empire. Joseph, Abel, our Infernal Dwarf against his Bloodthirster list. And we were hoping this one would have gone well for us, at least a good score. It doesn't. Our Dwarven Holds ended up getting picked by their Saurian Ancient player. We gave them the choice. Now, here's another thing. Like I said, there's multiple stories that go on into everything in this, okay? And this is what I ran into with my brother's list. My brother's list, which this is probably my brother calling me right now. It is. My brother's list is basically a very solid list, I believe. It has 3 Stratapults, 2 3 Stratapults, 2 Thunder Cannons, and then he has 2 blocks. One's a Mercenary block and one's a Tribesman block. Then he has a bunch of Bruisers and a bunch of like other stuff. But I felt like it was an extremely solid list, and this is what ended up happening a lot, is a lot of his green matches, and I mean, he has solid green matches, avoided the hell out of them. So when we got to the point where we're dropping off, we dropped Breakthrough, we dropped Neil, they dropped their Dwarven Holds and somebody else, and then they dropped their Ogre Con player. The only 3 players I have left in my hand is my brother, Hector, and myself. Well, here's the deal. The Ogre Cons is a giant red for Hector. A giant red. But you know what? It's also a giant red for me. And it's a giant red for my brother, because my brother has a bad history against other Ogre players. Okay? So no matter what, it was a red matchup for us. So I was like, well, who has the best chances? And I go, you know what? I have good experience with Ogre. So does my brother, because he is an Ogre player. I say, let's give them each other. The best case scenario is my brother gets a 10-10. Right? As I dropped it, I realized what he has left is Dread Elves and Orcs and Goblins. Okay? Now, the way I'm working it is either way, I'm going to get picked for flags or I'm going to get picked for breakthrough. Either one I feel comfortable enough with, especially against this Ogre Con player or their remaining Orc and Goblin player. Their coach or their captain or whoever was picking the teams goes, hold on, we need a moment to look at your list because you guys have odd lists. And that I take credit in that. I take credit in looking at the list and saying they're odd because I'm part of the reason why my team has odd lists. I'm an odd person. I understand that, right? So as he's picking the team, I look at my brother, and my brother's like, I don't want to fight that Ogre guy. I go, I know you don't, but you know what? They're not going to give me the Ogre guy. They are not going to give it to me. They're going to give it to you. And he goes, why? I go, because their Orc and Goblin player technically has a better list than mine. And I'm probably going to have to fight it. And it's a giant red match for me as well. And my brother's like, really? I go, yep. So they're going to pick the Ogre player. And sure enough, they pick my brother for Ogre versus Ogres. They pick Hector for Dread Elves. Or we picked Hector for Dread Elves. And then they picked me against Orc and Goblin players. And I'm playing Georgie. Georgie! There he is right there. Taking a picture of me. Taking a picture of him. I said, this is crazy. It's going to be like we're taking pictures of each other right now. And then, yeah. So basically, that's how it is. We're going to go over magic really quick. I got, here we go. Immolation, Cascading Fire, Pyroclastic Flow, Enveloping Embers. I believe he got the same spells I did. If not, he might have got like a Scorching Salvo where I didn't. I think that is the case. I got Raven's Wing, I got Deceptive Glamour, and I got the Wheel Turns, which I think the Wheel Turns is going to do good because we got to go over his list. Okay, so over here on the right side, that is his common Goblin block. The 3 guys mooning me, and yes, they are mooning me. I will take a picture. Here you go. Those 3 guys mooning me are all Shady Gits. Okay, so he has 3 Shady Gits. The guy on the squig is the champ. Those are his common Goblin block. He has a couple Doom Divers, a Rock Lava. He has 2 Gargantula Spiders, and then he has these characters. This is the guy on the right on the Azhag the Slaughterer model. That is his general. His general is kitted out with a Divine Icon, Hard Shield, Obsidian Sword, Talisman of Supreme Shielding, and that is it. He's an Iron Orc. Alright, the other guy, which is on a fucking gorgeous model, okay, is his Feral Orc Warlord on a Wyvern. And he is rocking Axe of Apocalypse, Bronze Breastplate, Dragonfire Gem, and a shield. So, right off the bat, I cannot get this guy with fire. Even though he's T5 with like no armor and a crappy ward, I cannot get him with fire because he has the Dragon Helm. The other problem is I can't get myself Flaming Swords to boost up my damage to kill this guy, and bow shots are going to be hard. And to top it off, this guy's going to just fly around and kill whoever he wants to kill. This guy is the big issue. This guy is the reason why I'm going to have a hard time against this list, because he could just fly up to my spider, punch a spider in the face and kill it. He could fly up to Zod, punch Zod in the face, and probably kill him. Strength 9, 7 or 8 attacks is ridiculous, not including the frickin' Wyvern. Now granted, you could always whiff, you could always do a lot of other things that could just not go in your favor, but this guy is a freaking cannon. This guy is made to kill and shred apart anything. This guy right here scares the crap out of me. This is why I gave this a giant red matchup, right? And then I go ahead, and this is a very famous line that I will forever use after this day. I go up to him and I go, okay, so I got your characters. I see that. I see you have your 2 spiders. I see you have your Doom Divers and your Rock Labas. I said, what is your core? And he looks at me in the face and he goes, it's your core. I go, it's my core? He goes, yeah, I just copied it off of one of your videos. I was like, oh shit, I got a fan. Awesome. Anyways, so we're playing, I think this is Classic Battle Line. So it looks like Classic Battle Line. So I go ahead and I line up like this. I put A-Rock and Koopa on the flank, and I just line up like so. He already dropped all his shit on the table. I think he dropped for first turn. Basically he goes ahead and he drops off like this. Now, when he does this, there's one mistake he made. Is he turned his Feral Orc Warlord facing me, not backwards. Well, the Feral Orc Warlord's frenzy range is like, what is that? A 20-inch range, all right? And I know this, and I told him the minute we started the game. I go, man, I think your coach played this wrong. He goes, why? I go, I think that your coach should have put me against the ogre player, because if anybody knows your army, it's me. I know your army. And he's like, okay, we'll see. So Vanguard, I Vanguard up, I move my dogs right there at exactly 19.9 inches away from his Wyvern Lord. And we're going to go ahead, and as you can see, that's the picture. We're going to go ahead and do turn 1, Bulgaria's Orcs and Goblins. Bulgaria's Orcs and Goblins turn 1. He fails the frenzy check immediately. He tries to play it off like, oh, I'm leadership 9. I go, dude, you're unruly. Unruly's -1 leadership. He fails it. Okay, great. Well, his BSB has the Crown of the Cavern King, so he has an 18-inch bubble for BSB range, right? So he goes, okay, reroll. He rolls a 10. This guy. I'm sorry that happened, but that's funny as fuck. Turn 1, fail frenzy. I don't think he's supposed to jump over his unit. I think he's supposed to just bounce behind, but I didn't correct him. I was like, yeah, whatever. Alright, so he goes ahead and he maneuvers around. He's kind of timid. He's a little timid about going forward and just charging into my face, especially since this guy failed the frenzy check. So he goes into magic. Magic, he got 11 power dice. Story number 2 about this game is this guy only had like 5 or 6 dice. He had a whole bunch of dice in a bag. Somebody took the bag, or he lost the bag, or something like that. So he basically had no dice. So he had to keep using dice. And there was one time in the game where he asked me if he could use like a handful of my dice because he doesn't have any. Anyways, he got 11 power dice. Goes in and he does a Scorching Salvo. He wrecks my dogs. He's like, fuck that. I'm not going to fail another frenzy. I'm going to kill the dogs. He does, right? He kills a couple of my goblins, and that is about it. Shooting phases. Common goblins on the hill. And yes, there's actually a hill there. We just drew that around to make sure we knew where the hill was because of just easier to maneuver around, and since the tables are just wood anyways. So he goes in and he shoots at the last Wolf Rider, and he kills the last Wolf Rider. Sounds like the last Airbender. Last Wolf Rider. Anyways, these guys right here are going to go ahead and shoot into my common goblins. They kill off one, and then the fucking Doom Divers and the Rock Lava start trying to hit Koopa, and Koopa just laughs it off like, you fat fuck, Koopa, I love you. One Doom Diver misfires and breaks for the game, alright, and then the other Doom Diver takes, or the Rock Lava takes a wound, which, yeah, okay. Turn 1. Shyhammer turn 1. Shyhammer turn 1. So I move up aggressively. I'm like, well, fuck this. Alright. Scenario, we're playing flags. Okay, I know we're playing flags. Now, the volcano in the middle of the table, that's actually ruins. Okay. It is what it is, which is kind of annoying because as ruins, that is the most obstacled ruins to walk into because it's a fucking volcano. You're gonna have to pick it up and move it. You know what I mean? That should not have been volcano. There was somebody else terrain who had actual ruins, and it was considered obstructing terrain. They just needed to swap the tables with those. Just swap them. Anyways, Spider moves up on the left side. Koopa moves up with the Spider on the left side. Now here's my goal. Here's my theory. Here's my plotting. I'm trying to get the A-Rock and Koopa into the spider, because you know what? Spider versus spider combat, that's going to happen, and what's going to end up happening is it's going to be a tie. But Koopa and a spider into the spider, I win that combat. Okay? Or I should, based on dice rolls. Just that could be a game changer. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to help them out by weakening up his spider and hopefully War Machine hunting with Baxter and the boys. So Baxter and the Bushwhackers are going up to the left, going to try to pick off wounds on the spider, hope to open up a gap for us, and then start taking out the War Machines, kill the spider, and start working on the left side. On the right side, since my dogs died, Crom is stepping up into the role of Frenzy Bait. So Crom is basically giving that Wyvern a 19.9 inch charge where he has to take a frenzy check again. And if he does get in for the graces of God, he fails the frenzy and gets a 12, Crom will hold a steadfast. That is why Crom is outside the forest. Crom is holding steadfast against the Wyvern Lord, because if the Wyvern Lord, there's variables. There's a bunch of variables. I mean, yes, granted, the Wyvern Lord gets 4 attacks, frenzy for 5, and then potentially 3 more. But he could get only 6 attacks if he rolls low. And even though he's strength 7, he could potentially not hit enough or wound enough. You know? So Crom, I mean, if he gets 6 attacks, and we're just hoping that none of the poison go off on the Wyvern, and he does, you know, 5 wounds out of the 6, I still live with the steadfast. So I angle all my chariots to basically countercharge, threaten, also to keep his spider back. My common goblins, I don't reach to shoot, but I have a plan in magic. So magic phase, I got 9 power dice. Oh, I love the purple dice. Dr. Gonzo, that dice is awesome, by the way. Go ahead, here's my plan. I do a Raven's Wing. I push my common goblins up in range to shoot, so that way I don't lose any of the volley fire shots, and I go ahead and I unleash him. I think all my pyromancy spells, he stopped it for the most part. So I go ahead and I unleash all 40 shots into his cave goblins, kill off the back row, about 8 of them. Alright, that is fucking phenomenal. That's all that really happened. I shot at the War Machines. I think I failed, or I shot at a spider. I don't think I wounded. And then the cave goblins were too far. The wolf pack really didn't shoot anything. So, yeah, that was all that really happened. It's going to start off his turn. Bulgaria's Orcs and Goblins turn 2. Bulgaria's Orcs and Goblins turn 2. Again, he passes his frenzy check. Woo! He's happy about that one. And instead of moving forward, he ends up moving back. Magic phase, he got 4 power dice. And what he does is he goes ahead and he does an enveloping ember. I mean, like, that is like the worst split for me. He got a 2 and a 2 on magic, and then he rolls 4 dice and does enveloping embers, and I just can't stop it. He kills off my common goblins, kills off like 2 rows of them. It looks like 10, 11, 12, 13 guys died. Wow. Shooting really didn't do much because he re-angled and was trying to shoot and was out of range of some stuff, so really didn't have anything else to go on to. It's going to go ahead and start off turn 2, Orcs and Goblins. Shyhammer, turn 2. Shyhammer, turn 2. Alright. And there's a lack of pictures. I know one of the reasons why there's a lack of pictures, which is another part of the story. One of the reasons for a lack of pictures is there was a girl who popped up, Carmen, and she popped up with her friend, Mayo, and both of them were just talking to me. And Carmen is a good-looking girl. I'm just be honest with you, all right? Carmen's a good-looking girl, so it was kind of distracting. And I was trying to pay attention to the game, and I was trying to not be rude to Carmen. Just being honest with you guys. There's a shy ambulance, guys. It's headed this way. And a lot of people have been asking, why is there so many goddamn ambulances whenever I make videos? Am I near a hospital? The answer is no. It is Chicago. Chicago, a lot of people die. It's a very violent place. I don't know why. I mean, it could be the fact that there's probably like old people having heart attacks, or it could be the fact that like some kid like got his hand chopped off by some freak accident. I don't know. But there's a lot of goddamn ambulances, and it always passes by. And I'm also on a very busy street. Anyways, so Carmen's distracting me from taking pictures. Shy ambulances are distracting me from making a video. Anyway, so magic phase, I got 6 power dice. I go ahead and I do a fireball or whatever it is. Let me see what it was. I think it was just the attribute from enveloping embers or something like that onto the spider. I end up getting off 2 wounds. And then, yeah, nothing really happened in Magic. I don't have pictures of what happened in Magic, what I try to do. So shooting, I'm going to go ahead and shoot into the spider. I end up putting a third wound on. Now this is great. This is great. This is all on the left spider that's facing Koopa and the A-Rock. Because if his spider gets in combat, he only has 5 wounds left, where mine still has 8, and Koopa's not going to get hurt by this guy. So that's going to be great. The one thing I'm afraid of is this guy terror checking Koopa off the table. That is a very big possibility. Over here, oh my god, these guys are going to continue just volleying off at those fucking cave goblins. For the lack of better choices, all I really can shoot is the cave goblins, because I don't want to get close enough where I'm releasing fanatics. I can't send in my K-Pack or Zod or anybody into there because I don't want to hit fanatics. So I'm just going to shoot them with freaking cave common goblins. So I kill off like 6 more, and that's about it. I don't know what's going on with my cave goblins. They're not doing much. And we're going to go to his turn 3. Bulgaria's Orcs and Goblins. Bulgaria, Orcs and Goblins, turn 3. So, he decides he's going to fly his guy to the flank of Crom. And at this moment, I realize what I could do. Now, he does this because he wants to threaten Crom and whatever, right? And then he doesn't want to commit any of his banners. All his banners are in this bubble. His general's leadership's in this bubble. That is great. Okay, I understand that. He decides he's going to move his general this way. Now, when he does this, I realize there's a gap in leadership. His leadership bubble's 18 inches, but his general's flying a little too far to the left. Just a little too far to the left. And I see this. I understand what's going on. He moves his general this way. As you can see, I moved my A-Rock and Koopa together to face off against his spider on this side. And that's why I was just shooting to weaken it up, right? But when I did this, what ends up happening is I did it where he couldn't charge Koopa because it was an illegal charge. He couldn't angle to Koopa. So he had to actually turn around and face, or I was just out of line of sight. I think that's what it was. I was out of line of sight. So he had to angle, turn around, and face this way to face against both. He moves his general over here so that way when I charge, he could counter charge with his general even if his spider dies or if I overrun. He turns these guys basically to throw fanatics into my guys as well. That is how it looks. Alright. The other side is a little bit messy, cleaner. I mean, this is the messier side. Magic phase, he got 6 power dice. He goes ahead and he does enveloping embers. I'm like, hell no! I stop it with all my dice. He goes ahead and does the scorching salvo. He fails it. Shooting phase. Oh my fucking god. The Doom Diver hits Koopa. Boom! 2 wounds. Fail the armor. Fail the ward. Oh, that sucks. Rock Lava shoots into my common goblins, only kills the missing musician that I couldn't find for half the game until this picture. That looks like it's it. I mean, I might have lost a little bit more common goblins, maybe. No, I didn't. Wow. His shooting really didn't do much. It's going to start off my turn. Orcs and Goblins turn 3. Guys, I'm going to give you a 5-second warning on a 5, 4, 3, 2. It's time for the wog! Come on, I'm going to wog out. Now, fuck this. Now, part of the problem was I'm not charging. I'm dead fucking serious. I measured and measured and measured and measured every angle, and I had to call the wog for one simple fact. Okay? I needed the extra movement. Alright? So I move Crom to get Crom out of the line of sight. This is what I saw. To get Crom out of the line of sight of his fucking Wyvern Lord. Alright? His Feral Orc Warlord, fucking the Blue Wyvern. Alright? The Blue Dragon. I had to walk him around, and that was going to take 14 inches. So I actually called out the wog. I'm dead fucking serious. To move Crom 14 inches away. I moved my Black Orcs. Now my Black Orcs are in trouble because they're going to die. They are going to die to this guy, right? Like, I mean, this is the second game I played where a Feral Orc Warlord has hunted him down. So I get it. I get that's what he's good at. He's good at killing small MSU units like this. The thing about the Feral Orc Warlord is he's feral. He's frenzied. So I set it up where I'm like, if you want to charge my guys, go ahead. I dare you to. Because now I turn my common goblins to face my Black Orcs. His overrun, no matter which way he overruns, he cannot get out of line of sight of my common goblins or Zod. and I do this on purpose. Alright, I move the K-Pack over this way because I want to threaten the flank of those common goblins, and I actually move the A-Rock and Koopa back, and the reason for that was just the fact that Koopa took a wound, and his lord is now protecting. His lord will kill my spider. That simple. His lord will kill my spider. I know that. If Koopa was there, that would have been perfect, but since Koopa's really injured, I just decided to pull back, and I'm going to continue picking wounds at his spider, right? Magic phase, nothing happens. Alright, shooting phase, I'm going to shoot my cave goblins who finally showed up. My cave goblins, the prophet and the cow, are going to shoot into his cave goblins. I kill off like 6 of them. Causes a panic. They fail the panic. They are 18.1 inches away from that BSB. 18.1 inches away from the BSB. They fail the panic and run off the table. They panic some of the war machines. That is fucking awesome. That is fucking awesome. And it's going to go ahead and start off turn 4. Bulgaria's Orcs and Goblins. Bulgaria's Orcs and Goblins turn 4. So he was about to call this charge. He was dead set on calling this charge. He sees it in his eyes. I see it in his eyes. And I'm putting the thing down. I'm taking the picture. And he goes, I need a timeout. And I was like, do your thing. I understand why you need a timeout. He lost a unit. It's flag scenario. He needs to kill this unit right here. But if he kills this unit, he's going to lose his character. He talks to his coach, right? Now his coach comes over, or his captain. And guys, this is like story number 4 of this game. Him and his coach, I know for him it wasn't fun, but they were fucking hilarious. They are like yin and yang. One thinks this way, one thinks that way. And it was problematic. All right, for him, I'm siding with Georgie here. All right, because I'm actually siding with both. I understand both their perspectives because I'm an Orc and Goblin player and I'm a coach or a captain. I understand both their perspectives. In my own views, this guy right here can kill my whole army. Okay, there's one major problem with this guy in my army, and that is the Goblin horde standing right behind this Iron Orc block. He is not supposed to charge in. So, I mean, they're talking their language. I don't know what Bulgarians speak. What language is that? I don't know what any languages are. I'm an ignorant American. But anyways, and they're screaming at each other. And he's like, if I go there, I'm going to fucking lose it. I mean, you can just see the body language. He's talking to him. He's screaming at the guy. They're both screaming at each other. And he's like, you're supposed to fucking get us the points. Get us the points. This is what you do. Leave your general there and then charge and charge and charge and charge. And he's telling him, just charge, charge, charge. Get rid of all my stuff and kill me. Just overpower me and kill me. And I'm hearing him say this. I am not fucking answering the phone. I'm hearing him say this, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, I'm thinking ahead of time, like, what else can I do, right? So when they call the timeout, they finish the timeout, this guy doesn't charge in. He moves the angle. He changes the angle, right? Magic phase. He got 8 power dice. He goes ahead and he does immolation, drops the attribute onto my chariots. He's been wounding my chariots with bow shots. So he ends up killing off one of the chariots. Drops the immolation here, which I don't really care about. He moved it here so if I charged into him and the goblins have to pivot, they'll run right into it, right? Doom Diver starts shooting into Koopa and fucking kills Koopa, you fucking bastard. And this is right after his timeout. So his coach is looking at him and he's like, good job, you killed that guy. That guy's points. Good job, right? And it's going to go ahead and start off turn 4, Orcs and Goblins, Shyhammer turn 4. I'm like, well, you killed Koopa. Fuck your spider. A-Rock's going in. A-Rock, last year's MVP. Remember that, guys. I did this twice. A-Rock went in last year against 2 monsters and a Minotaur Lord and won. Against a fucking wounded spider that have the same strength? I got this shit easy. A-Rock's going in. I'm going to fucking kill that bitch. Alright. Now, as you can see, he moved his Wyvern Lord this way. He wants to start threatening my stuff on the left side. He's still threatening my Black Orcs. He still wants my Black Orcs, right? But I'm just going to go ahead. I don't care if he charges the flank of my Goblins. Because look at this. He'll have a charge and 4 wounds, okay? I automatically have 3 ranks and 3 banners. I actually technically win if he charges my flank. Oh, no, he has a flank, so it'll be a tie. Next round, I'll win. And then next round, I'll charge him with the flank of the cave Goblins, right? So so I go ahead and I move my K-Pack up to threaten his flank of his common goblins, which doesn't really have much to do. And then I go ahead and I move Crom. Look at Crom. He's all the way on the other side. He's all the way on the other side. At the current moment, his general is in 18-inch range of his cave goblins. I'm keeping Crom far enough away where I don't get fanatics in my face. Okay? I don't want fanatics hitting me, but the minute he walks outside of that general's bubble, I am charging and terror checking those guys on their fucking leadership 5. Okay? Again, this is my army. I know what beats my army. I am also staying away from his spider because his spider could kill Crom easily with poison. Alright? And I am not stubborn. Alright? My best bet against the spider would be to do a crush attack. That simple. I move my force goblins up. It's a little risky. If for some reason the A-Rock loses, my force goblins are dead. That simple. Alright? But I'm moving my force goblins up because I want to nail those fucking war machines. I don't want those war machines around. Zod is just keeping a leadership bubble to make sure none of the goblins run. That simple. That is all Zod does this game, by the way. Magic phase! Got 8 power dice. Alright, so first thing I do, I don't even know what this picture... Oh! I see what happened. I did a fireball, and I ended up killing off the catapult, the one with the pig in it. That's what's missing in this picture. Alright, so I go ahead and I do a deceptive glamour, get it off, put it on his spider. Oh, this is just getting even better. It is just getting better. Alright, so I go ahead and I do... I think shooting. In shooting, I end up doing another wound or 2 onto his Doom Diver. Close combat. Holy fuck. He swings and he gets, again, he gets the same amount of attacks I do. He rolls all the dice, not one poison. And not only that, he's hitting me on 5, so he only had like a handful of hits, like 2 or 3 hits. And then he rolls them and he just doesn't even wound me. Holy shit. A-Rock goes and it's like poison, 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 and the goblins go and they're like boom, boom. They freaking do... he has 1 wound left. He's stubborn 9, fails the stubborn check and runs. Now I'm thinking to myself like, I'm okay where I'm at. I do not want to chase him because right now he's like 19 inches away from his general. I do not want to chase him at all. I do not want to chase him at all. I do not want to chase him. I want to restrain. I want to restrain. I roll the dice. Do I restrain? Hell no. The spider just starts fucking running. I'm like, damn it! Don't go closer to the guy. Damn it! A-Rock, what are you doing? She's like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, James. And I'm like, no! Stop! Damn it! Oh man, what turn is this? This is going to be Bulgaria's Orcs and Goblins turn 5. His coach is looking at him and he's like, what's happening? You're losing? You lost your spider? What's happening? Your war machines are gone? What is this guy doing? He's pointing it out. He's like, you're not listening to me. And again, this is a very toxic relationship between these two guys. I totally side with both of them. Alright? With both of them I side. Alright? Not because I'm trying to play that line of what he what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not trying to play that fine line where I'm just staying inside both sides of I understand both sides of the argument. Argument from the captain is like, hey, get points, you're not doing it, right? Arguments from the Orc and Goblin player is like, if I do this, it's gonna fuck me up more. And he's like, and his coach looks at him and he goes, charge that spider. He ran closer and he goes, okay, I will. So he charges the spider and he's like, I don't think I should do this. I don't think I should do this. And I'm just like, I don't want him to do it. I just don't. I'm like, fuck, my A-Rock's gonna die to this fucking guy and there's nothing I could do about it, right? He charges the feral and again, he tells him, I don't want to do this. And he goes, you have to. And he goes, fine. So he charges it. He's like, we need points. You have no banners. You're losing at flags. He got one of your units. You got to get one of his. So he charges this guy into my Black Orcs. And I'm just like, okay. I mean, I left him there on purpose. There is nowhere he can run in the next 12-inch overrun range that he could get out of line of sight of my common goblins. It's that simple. So he gets in here. He gets in over here. Alright, look at this guy. This guy's awesome. I love this model. It's like one of my favorite models I've seen all weekend. Alright, and it's just such a smooth paint job. There's just, like, a teal wyvern with such a smooth paint job. It's just beautiful. Alright, magic phase, he gets 10 power dice. He does a very smart move. First, he does immolation first. And he puts it right here. And I understand what he's doing. He's protecting his countercharge. He's hoping that it deters me. But the thing is, I started doing the math on it. Alright, it's going to be strength 4. It's going to do 16 hits onto my block. Okay? My general's right behind me. My BSB's right behind, or in that unit. Even if he kills 16 guys, even if he got a perfect roll, alright, I'll still have a charge, a flank, a big flank, 3 banners, and 2 ranks. So I'm still at 8. He'll do 4 wounds. I'll still win by 3. Alright? That's on a perfect roll. What I can't have go off is enveloping embers. So he tries to do enveloping embers. I squash it. I'm like, none of that shit, guy. Alright. Shooting phase, he kills off a couple, or the attribute, he kills off a couple guys here. Shooting phase here, he ends up doing a wound onto Crom. These guys are in trouble, by the way. Over here, close combat. The fucking A-Rock swings away, gets the fucking 1 venomous surge dice off. He fails to save it. I get 3 wounds off on his general. Fucking A-Rock does 3 wounds onto his general. Well, his general goes back and holy fuck, racks up 4 wounds onto the A-Rock. So the A-Rock, he has a charge in 4, I have 3. So I'm stubborn on a 6. I roll, I do not get a 6. I'm running. His coach walks by and he's like, see, charge the spider. You did good. You killed the spider. Now chase him down. And he goes, no, I'm going to chase him into the woods. And he goes, do it. You need the points. It's, oh, well, it's 2 DTs. You'll be fine. Just go. And he goes, I swear to God, you're going to get me 20 a node. I swear to God, you're going to get me 20 a node. Again, this has been going on for like 3 turns by now. This conversation between his coach and himself. And my dad was the other one who had to step in and was like, dude, I don't think you're supposed to be talking to the player this much. Just let him play the game. But his coach is like, chase him down. And he goes, I swear to God, if I get 20 a node, it is your fault because I'm going to fucking fail a DT in the woods. And he goes, you're not going to fail a DT in the woods. Chase him. So I roll the dice. I roll like a 7. He rolls the dice. He rolls a 9. He gets in the woods. He takes the DTs. And he fucking died in the forest. To the DT. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Georgie, but that's fucking funny as hell. I mean, he wasn't laughing at that time. He was so angry at his coach, but it was... Like I said, there's just multiple stories going on during this game. That is fucking funny that this whole conversation went off on this, and that's what happened. So he kills my spider, but he died in the dangerous terrains, which is huge. Now he has no leadership bubble. Over here, kills off a couple of my black orcs. Eventually he kills all my black, or I don't know if he wiped out all my black orcs or if I ran, but he has to overrun. He overruns only like 7, and yeah. Oh my God, orcs and goblins, turn 5. It's a trap. You know it's coming. The goblins are charging into that feral orc warlord. Fuck the immolation. I don't give a fuck about that immolation. Crom is charging these guys. They fail their terror check. They fucking run right off the table. Actually, I don't think they ran off the table. I think they only ran like 5 inches, and Crom just fucking runs them down. Fucking Crom, you sneaky little fat bastard, you sneaky little fat bastard. Oh man, so these guys get in, of course, and then over here on this side, I think I just move up to kill some war machines. I don't think anything else really happened. So these guys over here, I ran right into the immolation. I burned off probably like a rank or 2. Didn't really matter. I mean, like right now we're really low on time, so we're just kind of quick playing, not pulling models off because we understand we're only gonna finish about this turn. I think we don't get to turn 6. Magic phase got 12 power dice. Go ahead and I start using the fireballs and shit to get rid of those war machines. I kill a doom diver and I start weakening the other doom diver. Doesn't do enough. And then close combat over here. This is after immolation pulled off some bodies. Challenge off a champ. He kills the champ. I win combat by 7 or 6 or something like that. Maybe 4. He rolls it, he fails it, he runs. My common goblins chase. I don't think I catch him, but it really didn't matter at that point. He's fleeing at the end of the game. If we did play one more turn, he's going to rally, stay put, and then I charge again. It's that simple. And he'll run off the table. So it was a big Orc and Goblin victory. Holy crap, guys. I had this as a red matchup. I had this as actually I would get 5 points. And I'm dead serious. That was my faith in fighting this list. Because I'm going to be 100% honest with you. If that guy went into my spider, he would have just wrecked my spider. If he would have went into Koopa, he would have wrecked Koopa. If he would have went into the chariots, it would be hard. It would be the only way I could really deal with him. There's only 2 ways I could potentially deal with him. Number 1 is if I get the charge off with the K-Pack into him, because he's only T5, okay? And to do so, I need to set him up with a trap. I need to set him up with him going into Crom or him failing a Frenzy or something like that and hit him. Crom would be a decent way to get rid of him too, because I get impact hits plus 1 to wound with the chariots if Crom is in the same combat. So that could all work together to get, to potentially kill him. But there's not much in my army I have to fight a guy like that. That is my problem with the Bloodthirster list. Is I don't have much in the army that can fight the Bloodthirster. I don't have much in the army that can fight a Feral Orc Warlord on a frenzied Wyvern. But holy crap. So I definitely got the flags. Crom actually won me the scenario at the end. That is crazy. I almost lost the scenario. But it is a huge Orc and Goblin Shyhammer victory. I am really glad I played this guy. I'm really, again, him saying that line where he's like, what's your core? It's your core from Adepticon. I was like, holy shit, this guy actually watches my videos and pays attention. Oh, man. Yeah, I had a great time at ETC, guys. It was an awesome experience. It's always an awesome experience. This game was a little hectic towards the end, and at this point him and his coach were just arguing about what he did wrong, what he should have done, what's going on. But at the same time, it's a very toxic relationship. I get that. I had that last year with Team USA's captain. It's just toxic. It's not I mean, we didn't scream at each other. That's totally different. Anyways, yeah, so let's go over points really quick. Let's see. Alright, so points. Let's go over my team first. So that 17-0 or 17-3 victory for me pushed me up all the way up to 80 points. Well, coincidentally, let's keep going through the lists. Jesse got a big 0-point loss against the Ogre Con player, and he came out to me afterwards and he's like, you're not supposed to pair me against, don't ever pair me against. That's exactly what he said. He said, don't ever pair me against ogres ever again. And I'm like, Chewy, I did not want that to happen. I really did not want that to happen, but he just got outplayed by his opponent who plays ogres. Super Orko got 11 points against his, I think he was playing, what is he playing, Vampires? No, he was Empire versus Dread Elves? Where is he? Orko. Infernal Dwarves. Oh, okay. So he got 11-9 against Infernal Dwarves. Charlie got 12 points against his player, and he that was Dread Elves, which put him at 77 total. So actually, Charlie got. I'm sorry, I'm mixing that up. Charlie got Empire. He got 12 points. Charlie is the 3rd highest grossing player we have, which is pretty impressive. If he didn't get that one Spain match, he would have easily been the highest grossing player on our team. Joseph got 0 points, and Joseph was hit or miss. And Joseph is one of my favorite players on the team. I hate to say that, like I'm a parent who's not supposed to say who's the favorite, but Joseph was an awesome guy. He was just he made the team, I think, not only for me, but for everybody else on the team. He was just like the team mascot. But his games, he either came back and he was like, I got 15 points, I feel fucking pumped. Or he came back and he's like, oh man, I let you guys down, I got 0. So Joseph was hit or miss, and I'm totally okay with that. I'm totally okay with that, because that just means I need to point him in the right direction to get him to get those 15s and 20s. Alright? Neil, our most consistent player, got an 8-point loss. This is the only loss Neil got in the whole tournament, and that also put him at 80 points. Alan got 7 points, which was a bad list for Alan. We've talked about it, and we're gonna revamp and revisit and do different things next year. And then Hector Gardy got 10 points at 61. So first place on our team, Mexico, goes to Neil. Neil got 80 points and technically got more points than me on kills, like actual kill count. Whereas I got 80 points, and I think that's respectable. I think that actually puts me in a good spot for the Orc and Goblin community. I looked it up, and now granted, when we put in the points, my dad mixed up my name and my brother's name, which again, this is my fucking father. That's our coach, but he mixed it up. When he put in the points to the judges, it showed up immediately that I had 0 points and my brother had 17 points. So when it shows up on the forums, it shows that I'm like, I don't know, the 14th Orc and Goblin player, but with the correct points, I am technically the 3rd best Orc and Goblin player in the world. I got fucking proof to say that. 1 Buckeye, so I know I'm one of the best in America, and I got 3rd place in the world tournament. Good luck, guys. Sorry, I have to float my own boat. If I don't float my own boat, then who will? Oh man, and then but that put me, I think, like in 42nd place in ETC, which is a fucking huge improvement versus last year. That is ridiculously on the other end. I gotta thank a lot of people. Number one, I gotta actually thank Carl Eric from Norway, because his words of wisdom to me was, "Are you bringing Koopa this year?" And I said, "I don't know. I was playing with this list with trolls and black orcs." And he goes, "It would be a shame for you to make your own team, come all the way out here, and Koopa's still not on your list." And I was like, "You're right. I'll bring Koopa." And I'm glad that I did. So that's number one person I gotta thank. I gotta thank my team, of course. My team is huge, and it was a great time. We got to 18th place. This was a huge loss for us. Actually, we got 65 points. This is actually a worse loss for us than Italy. All right, the number one team of last year. And I told people, Bulgaria has armies that just had the right tools to deal with our armies. And when we lost against Spain, Italy, and Bulgaria, what beat us wasn't the players. What beat us was the matchups. And that is something I need to get better at, because I feel like they dominated who picked who. This even happens to us at Strength in Numbers. We play Strength in Numbers, and I feel like we could have beat the players, no problem, but it was the matchups that we got that messed us up. So yeah, that's a little foreshadowing on Strength in Number videos coming up soon. Anyways, alright, let's go over my team one at a time. Let's see, we're going to start off with 11th place, and that is the Raiders. And the Raiders got 263 points for chasing off a unit off the table in round 2 against Argentina. That is awesome. I am proud they even pulled in points. Going into 10th place, which doesn't really show their true value to me by any means, by a stretch of any means. And part of the reason is because sometimes when I do shooting wounds, they pull off the bodies before I get a picture, so I don't really take a picture. That happens all the time. But in 10th place goes to the Bushwhackers. They got 792 points total. I don't have the kill count, how many times they've died. There's a couple games where they died pretty early on. Argentina and Spain are the two I'm thinking of, because I got charged with double 6 charges both times, and that is just, it happens. Alright, in 9th place goes to the Iron Boys. They have 809 points from one game. That is crazy. That is crazy. They got 809 points from one game alone. But these guys are awesome, and oh my god. I was currently trying to make a new list, and I was like, well, why don't I just drop one character and add all those points to beefing up my Black Orcs to 24 Black Orcs or 25 Black Orcs. And then I thought about it, and I said, I can't do that. And I'm going to tell you why I can't do that. Is because the minute I add 5 more orcs in this unit, the minute I add 5 to 10 more orcs in this unit or more, I won't play it the same way I play it now. I like this unit just to stand on the scenario and say, what? You're not going to take the scenario away from them because you can't panic them off, and you actually have to dedicate resources to get to them. I like this unit a lot, and I right now they are a mainstay. I tried to play with many different combinations. I talked to a lot of the Orc and Goblin players on Facebook saying, what do you think of this list? What do you think of this list? What do you think of this change? And a lot of them, even though when they gave me their feedback, I'm like, I cannot justify getting rid of this unit. I just cannot justify it. Alright, in 8th place goes to the K-Pack. The K-Pack didn't have any juicy charge targets. They earned a lot of points in the first game against Norway, which was huge. That won me the game against Norway. They did decent against Italy, but they didn't finish the job. They did decent against Argentina, but they never got the units they were charging. They died to Spain. Ukraine, they did very little, and Bulgaria, they did nothing. So they got 8th place. Doesn't really show their power level, and I honestly think one thing that is misunderstood by the points right now is the fact that the K-Pack creates board control. It creates this zone where nobody wants to walk in this zone because they're going to get hit by 3d6 plus 3 impact hits. So that's crazy. In 7th place goes to the Prophet and the Cow, which seems about right. They don't, they're not overpowered unit. And the last 2 games, I did not use my Fanatics, which apparently I lost them already. I lost them on game 4. So I'm gonna have to pull out some new Fanatics for now until I get the Cow back. But in the meantime, they got 1,109 points. In 6th place goes to Crom the Conqueror. Now this when I was making the points up before I made the video, I was looking at it and I was like, man, Crom's really low. I thought Crom would have done better. But then I realized we're gonna look at the people who are above him, and you got to understand, Crom got a respectable amount of points for what Crom is and does, and the people above him are supposed to be above him. All right. So we're going straight into 5th place, and this is a big upset to me. This is a big upset. In 5th place goes to Zod. What? Zod! Zod is normally 1 and 2. Zod is always 1 and 2. But in this tournament, in ETC, he sat back, and he never had to dedicate any power forward except for the game against Spain and Ukraine. And that is it. Every other game he barely contributed. So Zod got 1,800 points total, which is pretty good, but not on a Zod scale. He didn't earn his points. That's crazy. 4th place, man, this guy almost didn't rank up this high because in 2 games he died. In 2 games he died. No, wait. Yeah, in 2 games he didn't. One game he didn't do shit. The other game he died. The other game he died and didn't do shit. And this game he died, except he got 1 round of shooting off. And then the big moneymaker was Ukraine. Ukraine, he got 1,300 points out of his 1,989 points. Baxter the Pyromaniac. That is crazy. That is crazy. Now, granted, Baxter's points is also combined with the Bushwhacker points of 792. So Baxter technically has more points, pushing him even higher on the list. But I'd like to separate those two, because then it just starts turning into my whole army put this many points. But he's in 4th place. So, guys, there's only 3 more players on my team. Who do you think got 3rd place? Koopa! Koopa, you fat bastard! Wow. When General Zod does not show up, Koopa steps up the game. Holy crap. Koopa round 1, 633 points. The game that Argentina, Koopa didn't do shit, but Zod did. And against Italy, Koopa took 1,000 points. Against Spain, 500 points. Against Ukraine, 200 points. And against Bulgaria, Koopa got shot by a Doom Diver, or else Koopa could have even climbed even higher on this list today. Wow, Koopa, you took 3rd place. You took a spot in my heart, and that is why I'm dedicating my first set of dice that I'm making for my Patreon to you, Koopa. You fat bastard. So that only leaves two more units. 2 more units, and I'm gonna give you guys a real. I mean, I'm not gonna leave it on this picture for Koopa for a while because I want to tell you guys right now. We only got 2 units left, right? And both of them compete for first place have competed for first place every tournament I bring them to. But this is the first time they're in the same tournament together, all right? And that is part of the reason why I feel like I was successful. And the number 2 spot goes to Bazooka and the Hordes. Bazooka and the Horde got 2,978 points total, taking second place, which means the first place, and the repeat, the like 7-time tournament MVP, the luckiest fucking model in my army, goes to the A-Rock. Holy shit! 3,103 points. The A-Rock is still the people were telling me at the tournament, hey, the rest of your army's starting to look really nicely painted and all that stuff, but maybe you should update the A-Rock a little bit, get a little touch up. And I was thinking to them, nah, I'm gonna leave the A-Rock just like she is because she does a perfect job. I don't know if it's the crusty orange paint or what, but the A-Rock does what she does. Kills fucking generals on round 6 by making them run into trees. Oh, she was my MVP last year ETC. She's my MVP this year ETC. And God, I'm telling you right now, guys, next year ETC, the A-Rock is coming back. Holy shit. Wow. 3,103 points. She died a good chunk of those games, but at the same time, she's a hammer. That's what she's supposed to do. And she kept my scoring units from dying, which is even better. I only lost 1 game against Spain, and I'm pretty proud of that. I could walk away and say that I played 6 of the best players in the world, and walked away with 1 loss that was only 9 points. So guys, I'm happy that I could step up my game for Orcs and Goblins. I'm happy that I could show you guys some good content. I'm glad that a lot of you guys are enjoying these videos. Guys, if you like the video, hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment. I like to read any of your comments as much as you guys feel like it's nonsense to say. If you guys want to correct me on tactics or tell me what I did or didn't do wrong or right, do it. Alright? Guys, if you really appreciate my content, I am trying to give back to you guys as well, but I have a Patreon set up. It is in the description box down below. Currently, the way the Patreon works is you could donate any amount of money. You could donate $1 to $2 to $3 or whatever it is, right, that you guys feel to show your support into my channel. But I do have a tier system, and the tier system works like this. If you live in the US and you want to get a custom set of dice, which the first set of dice is going to be the Koopa dice, okay, I'm only going to make about 200 of these, alright, so, and everybody gets a pair. So everybody who gets into this tier for $10 or more, that includes the shipping, so just $10, will get a set of dice and also get a ticket to be entered into getting a chance to win a custom banner by me. Alright? Now, if you're international, I'm sorry to say, guys, it's a little bit harder for international. It's $35 a month, or $35 to get into the raffle, excuse me, because it is the shipping cost is a lot higher to send stuff across the pond. So it's $35. But if you guys want to just get a custom painted banner, you can just go ahead and do that by going onto my Patreon. And I will only do 4 a month, all right? Because I do have a full-time job and other responsibilities to handle, so I can't really spend all this time painting banners. But you could go ahead and sign up on that. Go on my Patreon and visit it. Anyways, guys. And then the international rate is there as well. So guys, I hope you enjoy my content. I enjoy making my videos for you guys, and I hope to give you guys more stuff really soon. I have 2 games. Before I went to Strength in Numbers, then I went to Strength in Numbers, and then I have I'm getting ready for Michigan GT now. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna stop it right before it gets to a full hour. So guys, till next time, take care and peace.